Okay, well, everybody, want to wish you first off a very Merry Christmas early. We are in the holiday spirit, so we're going to be talking about some Christmassy stuff tonight. While I'm waiting on my co-host, Mr. Daniel Benoit, to join me, I'll let the viewers build up a hair, and we're looking to have some pretty fun tonight. We've been talking about and looking forward to this all week ever since we had such a good turnout here this last week for the experimental episode of Geek-Squatch. And so we're looking forward to tonight's show. So I see my co-host, Mr. Daniel Benoit from ECBRO, has joined us. Welcome to the show. Let the audience build up. What's up, Dan?
Nah, what's up, guy? nah, nah. When you were sending me the link there a little while ago, I said, "Why is my phone ringing?" I was like, it was sending. My phone was Google Hangouts was calling my phone. I was like, "What the heck?" But anyway, because I forgot I have the app on my phone. It was a voice call, so a video voice call thing.
Right.
But anyway, I was like, "I'm here." So, um, oh man, I tell you what, I just got done eating some real good food that Brianna made. So,
What you make?
it was angel hair spaghetti with some grilled chicken strips that we had, and some cheese and mushrooms. Oh yeah, can't forget the mushrooms. I love mushrooms. So, and a touch of
Or
garlic. Yeah.
did she finally figure out that smoke alarm wasn't a timer?
Yeah, yeah, I'm getting her straight
Oh,
over that. Yeah, I'm getting her taking a. She's finally figuring that part out. So, oh,
oh man.
you
No,
know
but
what?
yeah, like
Oh,
I
go ahead.
said, I hope everybody's in the Christmas spirit because Christmas is Tuesday, folks. We got tomorrow, we got Monday, and then it's Christmas. Forward to everything. Hopefully, everybody is having a pretty good time and avoiding all the crazies out that's doing the Christmas shopping. And well, while we're before we start off, go ahead and say what you was going to say, Dan.
Well, it's the first thing. First of all, let me say hello to everybody on the live chat. I see Kevin is on the live chat. Kevin Smith that was with us last night on my YouTube channel. Um, anyway, there's two different people has been sending me something regarding. I hate to even bring the name up, but Mr. Rick Dyer. I know earlier this week or last week it was brought up to me by one individual, and something about we should talk about so and so, Rick Dyer, and I said why? I said what? I said everybody knows. Well, maybe there's a few people that don't know him and his reputation and the hoaxes that he's put out there. So yeah, so and then Sam about 20 minutes ago or so shared me a YouTube link regarding Rick Dyer and what's going on with Rick Dyer. I didn't even listen to it because I was trying to prepare to come on here, and I just, just from a brief part of what I've got from off of that, just looking at the link, every, um, well, I don't know, somewhere, everybody knows, or everybody who's been paying attention to Rick Dyer knows that he owns a car business, a car dealership business, and I don't know the complete details, but well, there's talks where people are starting to feel bad for Rick Dyer because, yeah, I don't know, maybe his business is going downhill. Something's going on with Rick Dyer or his personal life, and and I don't know if this is some kind of scam for him to pick up, gain followers or some or whatnot. But a lot of people lost respect for him when he got caught hoaxing. Not once, but twice, but three times, and he robbed a lot of people of their money. Anyway, I don't know what's going on with the whole situation. His personal business, people concerned, oh, he might hurt himself. You don't want me to get started on that because that's going to turn R-rated with the language. And for one thing, I used to support him and back him up till he done me wrong, and well, Rick Dyer. If I have to be honest about it, f you, Rick Dyer. So anyway, so I try to be nice to him and support him, but then he turns around and he basically stabs you in the back and blah blah blah. So yeah, I have not looked into it, so I'm not But again, if there's a new scam going around where people are trying to get you to feel bad for Rick Dyer, take caution. I don't care. I mean, everybody goes through something, you know. But I don't know. Like I said, I know Sam Deloche shared something with me regarding Rick Dyer. I have not had a chance to look it over. I don't know what the problem is, what the issue is, but it could be something serious. Who knows? I mean, right now at this point, whatever it is, till I look it over, I currently my status on that. Whatever's going on with Rick Dyer, the liar, you know what? I don't care right now. So I just wanted to throw that out there at the moment because until I learn facts, I don't care. So, like I said, I don't know what's going on with the guy. So, so,
Yeah, I wasn't even aware of who Rick Dyer was, and actually until Shaky went and pointed out who he was to me, and I looked him up on Google of all places, and that was here, I want to say about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
oh yeah,
So all the stuff had blown over.
yeah, he's been hoaxing since 2008, I believe it was. And then the fake Bigfoot came along around 2000. First got put out there in 2011, 2012. Went on tour with that. Made man, he was charging people to come see a fake Bigfoot body. I mean, a lot of people are well acquainted with this. Then again, there's a lot of people that may not even know or never heard of him. But I don't know. He's had fake video footage. People fell for her and everything else. But it was very dramatic, and a lot of people really fell for it. And a lot of us were very objective towards it and knew better until he finally admitted to it. So I don't know. So and then also mentioned here on the live chat, Kevin even said he is also a convicted felon. So from eBay fraud. So interesting. Well, you know what? If something is going bad with his life and where people are concerned about him, well, ladies and gentlemen, look at it like this: karma. What goes around comes around. Whatever. So, but like I said, I don't know. I'll look into his situation later. Probably I don't know what the deal is with him. So yeah, because Sam reached out to me. He said him and Richter have been talking about it, and Richter and Rick Dyer, yeah, they're best friends, buddy, butt buddies, whatever the hell you want to call it. But I that's why I don't give that much legit, that much really thought or feeling into that, because that side of the fence right there is usually 99.999% bullshit, regardless. Where that comes from. So till I look into it and get more of my own opinion on that, again, take caution, ladies and gentlemen. So, but
Oh boy, but yeah, well, enough of that stuff and everything. Let's go ahead and let's start having a little bit of fun and everything. Of course, the title is the show is titled Geek-Squatch. So we going for everybody that didn't catch us last week. We are basically a bunch of Bigfooters that's gone nerd. We're the kind of people that was the outcasts in school and everything. We was the ones getting the atomic wedgies and getting our swirlies daily by the neighborhood bullies. We had the big nerdish glasses and everything. Your typical nerd, but we bring a lot to the table and everything. Like last week, we talked about wrestling, movies. Baldemar brought up about how much money he had to go and build every single enterprise that's blown up here since the 60s. And but we're going to talk a little bit about some stuff, go over some recent changes and everything. I brought some stuff from the most recent pay-per-view of the World Wrestling Entertainment (TLC). The results, how that come out, and then Raw and SmackDown following that. I don't know what Daniel's brought to the table tonight, but let's go and let's get this party started. Dan, what you got tonight?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. The only thing I can really share forth right now in this current time, me and my daughter went and saw Aquaman last night. And, let me back up a little bit here. Aquaman, a lot of people grew up knowing Aquaman from the comics and the cartoon series back, there was cartoon series when I was back in the 80s and 90s and, and Aquaman has been in the comics for, I don't know the history on Aquaman, but he's probably longer than I've been around. I'm most likely, and I'm sure. And even as I got older, Aquaman wasn't really that kind of that character or that superhero that really was like on everybody's mind. He wasn't as popular or as big as Superman was, but Aquaman, once he became more known and of course they I don't know, the character they portray. I mean, I've seen him in the other superhero series and episodes where they finally bring him out and how they work together. And, a lot of people, Aquaman is billed I don't know what you call it, a fan. I don't even know the right way to put that, but he's billed
Fan favorite.
Yeah, again, yeah, he's got his popularity has grown over a period of time, and then when they first brought forth this new Aquaman movie, when I first started seeing the trailers to this, I was actually like, wow, this looks pretty awesome. Of course, here's a modern film. They're using this cool looking dude, and so I said, this seems like it's going to be worth checking out. And I guess what made me pay more attention to it is like my daughter being infatuated with a lot of the Marvel and the DC comics, and don't get me wrong, I am too, very much so, because I'm
Yeah, but you ain't goo eyeing over the male stars. like 90% of the female population that likes stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. When I'll tell you what. Well, we went and watched this because Brianna, she's been planning this for a long time, and we got out there. We went out yesterday to the theater and watched it, and I'm sitting there watching it from the beginning, and it actually, I personally, if I have to give my own honest personal opinion regarding the way it went down, I seriously was not disappointed, and that's just me. That everybody's going to have their own thoughts and opinions on this. Like I said, story went well, and and like most stories, way a screenplay goes out, I was not disappointed. I really liked the way they put everything in order on this, and just with the way the characters fell into place. When people met, when there was relationships brought together and showed who is who, and just everything, the way everything fell into place to me perfectly in this video, in the scene, and I think that's what made it very, or I should say, highly entertaining to me, and it's the character himself and his relations around him, really stood out. So again, I was impressed with it, and so if I have to give a star rating, on Aquaman, I will give him 5 stars. So 5 stars, and great film. So go out there, check that out. He's in theaters right now. Just came out the other day. Get out there and watch Aquaman. So I believe the film's going to have a very high high rating, high fun. He's going to bring in millions. Yeah, that's right. That's how I'm trying to figure how to word that. Thank you. So, but yeah,
you me are polar opposites when it comes to Aquaman. See, I never liked Aquaman. Aquaman to me was always the fat kid that always got picked last.
Yeah, all right, I understand where you're coming from, but check this out. Like I said, he wasn't. Maybe I didn't pay attention, but to me, growing up, yeah, he wasn't popular. I mean, as far as that kind of superhero character in the public eye, it was yeah, he seemed like he was somebody that was in the back row, just waiting to more or less be introduced. So, but I tell you what, I was impressed. You might change your mind, your thoughts on that. You might look at that fat kid in a different sense, like he's a badass. So I don't know.
That or a bigger shield.
Do what now?
That or a bigger shield.
That or a bigger shield? No. This guy here. Let's say this. All right. I think Brianna said this.
Everybody knows.
Huh?
I said everybody knows Jason Momoa ain't no fat kid, but I think just the casting is what sold the movie.
Well, yeah, all right. A lot of women went goo goo gaga over Jason, but if I had to compare him to any other superhero, all right. Now, first of all, everybody that knows Superman, he is who he is, regardless of anywhere he is on the planet. I have to give it to Jason to be that. If again, I'm trying to be careful, but if I had to compare Aquaman to Superman, Aquaman is Superman of the sea. Okay,
right.
Now he may not completely be the Man of Steel, but I'll have to say he's got a lot of strength. But I don't know. He's got the control of. He's got things that Superman don't have, but yeah, he's not completely the Man of Steel either. But I have to give it to him. He is the Superman of the sea. So,
like I was watching. I was watching. Like Jeff Dunham was talking. He had Melvin, the superhero guy, and he said, Jeff told Melvin. He says, "Well, I like Aquaman." He goes, "Why?" And he says, well, "He can breathe underwater and talk to fish." And Melvin says, "Yeah, cool. He's got all the same powers as SpongeBob."
Oh Lord. Yeah, actually, that's true. Oh, Patrick. Yeah, SpongeBob.
Bobcat Wong saying, "Hey Santa, can I have a cure for my acid reflux and a new right eardrum?" Well, if you want a cure for your acid reflux, for myself, I drink a glass of milk and I lay on my left side. I don't know about the eardrum.
Yeah, I don't know about that one either. But yeah, I would definitely go with what Zach said. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That brings up another thing. I mean, we got a lot of my friends I know, and they got like the home remedies kind of thing. Like what home remedies do you have whenever you were growing up?
Well, I really
to like get rid of ailments.
To get rid of what now?
To get rid of ailments.
Well, I'm trying to remember. There's different ones. I'm trying to remember. There's different ones for different symptoms. And some could actually correlate, relate, or work with other things. Toothache, stuff like toothaches. I'm just thinking right offhand, randomly here. Warm water with salt that could be used for other things. Too. And I think, gargling, swishing with warm water with salt. Upset stomach. There could be a number of things. I don't know that. Upset stomach, colds. Different things having flu-like symptoms, body aches. Some people like to use that whiskey, there's a combination of everything. I think between the both of them, we could probably go on a bunch of stuff that we all heard of.
Whiskey will cure anything.
Yeah, I remember one time my father made a contraption, made something with gin in it, and I'm not a gin person. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I've had it. It's okay if it's a mix with something else, but he made me something. It was mainly more straight gin than anything. Oh, mixed with I think maybe it was mixed with some tea and honey and something, but ew, it's a nasty ass stuff. But but I think I was better off if he made me something more straight whiskey, because the whiskey between that and the hot soup and everything else probably would have sweated it out of me a lot better. But so yeah, see, like Nikki even mentioned here on the live chat, ginger for stomach aches. So look, Stacy said peppermint, yeah, for acid reflux. Now somebody told me, and I don't know who told me this or who said what. Somebody, because I had an upset stomach one time. I mean, it was really upsetting and hurting. But maybe it was one of you guys, because I tried it one time. It was baking soda mixed with water, and it was like kind of like it was almost like the same concept as if you put the tablets in the water, whatever you call that. I forget what they call Alka-Seltzer.
Alka-Seltzer.
Yeah, so basically that's what I did. I happened to have baking soda, and I put baking soda in the water, mixed it up real good, and I put it in warm water too. I didn't know if it made a difference or not, but I went to take a sip of it, and it was definitely weird. It wasn't like drinking Alka-Seltzer water. To me, it was more of salty tasting water. I guess because the water was warm. But I don't know. It was very salty tasting, and I don't know. But I took one sip, and I didn't want to do no more than that. But after it did help. And when I woke up feeling a whole lot better. So apparently it worked. So,
there was one that's been in my family now for a while, and it's our cure for it's our homemade cough syrup. It's got hard candy, lemon juice, and a pint of Seagram's whiskey.
Ooh.
Take that, boil that, and stir it for about 10 minutes. It'll fix you all right.
Now that's for what cough medicine you said?
That's cough medicine. That's any kind of medicine.
Nice. Yeah,
I remember it hit me so hard one time. I took a spoonful of that, and it put me out. And by the time I woke up, they took down the Christmas tree and all the outside lights.
Well, I do know a teaspoon of sugar will help the medicine go down. I'm sorry, that's Mary Poppins. Anyway, yeah, do you see Bobcat? Oh no, Nikki said because it knocked you out.
It knocks you out. No kidding. Bobcat says, "Santa, can I have a large screwdriver?" Well, you ain't got very much to do with that. It's just you've got a screwdriver. You got vodka and orange juice. That's a screwdriver. Vodka, orange juice, and milk of magnesia. That's a Phillips screwdriver. Vodka and prune juice. That's a pile driver.
Wow. Wow. It's funny. We're talking about home remedies, and here we are. We're more or less talking about.
We're talking about getting drunk.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because, a lot of these remedies have alcohol in them, and usually most of the time when you're sick with the flu and you're feeling, a lot of times you already feel drunk when you're sick because it's just in a worse, nastier way, a discomfort way. Of course, when if you could overcome that with the good kind of drug, and they help you feel better, you get into a more groovy situation, you're good to go.
You must be sick all the time then.
No comment. But wait a minute, sick in concept just might be in my head.
No, I'll take a large pile driver on the rocks. Whoa.
Oh
Talking
Lord.
about pile drivers, man. I tell you, while we're on the subject of pile drivers, I was wanting to talk about how WWE's TLC turned out Sunday night. It turned out pretty good. Um, I watched the highlights on YouTube after it went off the air, and it looked pretty good. And I mean, it was entertaining. They had the cruiserweight division open up. Then they had um, the one of the worst matches though that night had to be the Intercontinental title match between Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. It was basically a lot of leapfrogs and a lot of resting holds. There was very little technical wrestling, and then you get up to the the main event where it was Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Asuka in the main event triple threat women's TLC match, first of its kind, and I mean it stole the show. I mean you could throw out the rest of the card. I mean they took it to the limit, and it would have been going pretty good. The only one drawback is when Ronda Rousey come out there and she tipped the ladder while Becky Lynch and Charlotte was on the ladder and let Asuka win it by a fluke. And I mean, I tell you, I want to see where this storyline goes with WWE, but I mean, Asuka has been fighting all year to get there, so she's attained her goal and everything, but even I bet she could agree that she wishes that the writers actually let her win it fair and square and clean instead of having outside interference.
Hmm. Now, when you're talking about wrestling, I try to stay back, because I don't know. Like you said, you're talking about something recent, so and
Right.
right now I'm unable to follow anything recent right now. Anyway, however, so yeah, that's cool that you give me an update. Like I said, I don't know much about what's going on with this. A lot of recent wrestling, more or less the older stuff like we talked about last time, but
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty cool.
Well, you was talking about the older wrestling. You remember the Iron Sheik whenever he would have those strength tests?
Wait a minute. Who is this now?
The Iron Sheik.
The name sounds familiar, but I'm not entirely familiar
He
with
was
that one.
he was from Tehran, Iran. He wore the little elf shoes that had the curve on the
Oh,
toe, the
okay.
mustache.
Yeah, I know who you're
He,
talking about
he
now.
always he always had the Persian club strength test. Have you ever, where you took the big, like 150-pound clubs and stuck them up here, and then you swung those things around, and you had to do so many repetitions to beat the Sheik? Nobody could do it like the Iron Sheik, even if it was clean. I mean, he was just so fluid with his movements. Did they
Right.
ever have to have? Did they ever have you do anything like that whenever you was in karate in the dojo?
No, 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 no.
Yeah, for a lot of you guys that don't know, Daniel is a first degree black belt in karate.
Oh, Kumisami.
I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish.
No, no, nah. Yeah, since I took Taekwondo, which was the Korean style of martial arts, and we learned a couple short phrases in Korean. Basically, it was related to the class and being dismissed or welcomed into the class. The words like uh, you know you know kamsahamnida, which was more or less thank you, and or Sharun cut means class dismissed, and oh yeah. So yeah, well, we would reply with kamsahamnida, which was thank you, and so forth. And there was a few others I can't remember right offhand, but there was a few basic things that we used to learn. Well, that we used to be able to doing certain exercises in the classroom. There were certain techniques that we would do that would, as we were to do them, we used to go into count. We used to be able to count in in Korean, which the counting methods I don't remember except for like a few, like the first two or three, like Hana, Do, Set, Net, and then it goes up from there. It's just like Spanish, uno, dos, tres, cinco, cuatro, cuatro, cinco, seis, and so forth. But it's just like every language has their own, number counting system, whatever. I don't know it all, but yeah, we learned there used to be some of them used to remember or know how to count up to 100 in Korean. Which I don't know. Some of the word Korean, I don't know. It's just some of it's very strange, but. So I never got into all, learning all the language and the certain phrases. I just kept the basics, as far as introducing, the thankful thing, all that crap. But it's been many years. It's been many years, so that's why I don't keep up with it. There's some of it I'm surprised I remember the very little bit that I do, as far as the wording, but I loved it overall. The whole thing, I really loved the martial arts, the taekwondo. Great. It wasn't just a great workout, but it was a lot of it. It was mentally, trying to find the right word to use here, but mentally it was very healthy. It was a good thing to learn, because it wasn't just about learning self defense, but there was a philosophy that we studied behind it, and the philosophy really took us a long ways. So between the philosophy and the mentality, along with the physical, it in my opinion, and the best way I could say it, it's a very strong thing if you put your mind into it. So, um, regardless if it's something you stay with, but one thing you do, if you start off with it and you go so long into the martial arts, I don't care what style of martial arts. I will say this and throw this out there: if you start and become established with any form of martial arts, and you learn the mentality behind the philosophies and everything, it'll go a long ways. So, and it'll stick with you. Brianna, excuse me, I gotta mute.
Yeah, like he was talking about it, you hear stories about whenever it comes to martial arts, it takes a great deal of discipline. A friend of mine, who's a member of my team, is he's a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he'll tell you it's a very taxing, very, very taxing physically and mentally and emotionally. You have to be very committed to it. Like, um, like just Daniel said, 110% committed to it if you're going to be able to even pull it out. Even undoubtedly, Daniel, I bet you can vouch for this, that it wasn't easy getting your black belt.
No, well, the thing is, I'm going to tell you what this. Yeah, the black belt was very challenging. Yet it was just like any other belt, to be honest with you. And I want to be careful how I word this, because anyone that is just getting involved, I definitely don't want to, discourage anybody. It every belt challenge, it's just like going for a test in school. It's always like, if it's a test where you feel like, if I don't pass this, I'm not going to the next grade. Well, there's always that fight and that nervousness behind every testing when it comes to each level. And the thing is, about a black belt, again, is really not much difference. However, there may be a little bit more to the test, but I think I'm trying to be careful, because it's one of the things I don't want to lose my train of thought. But as far as obtaining your black belt and reaching that level, shoot, my brain's draining quick on this one, because I'm losing my train of thought. Yeah, it's not much different, but I'm sorry, Zach. I lost my train of thought because I was dealing with Brianna on something, and she messed me up. So, but I'm sorry. You'll have to take over. I can't. My brain's messed up. So.
Well, there's one fighter, and I don't know if have you ever heard it was before the days of UFC. It was basically the original UFC. It was called Pancrase. Or Pancrase.
Yeah.
Pancrase. Like Ken Shamrock and his brother, Boss Rutan, Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture, all those. I mean, the original UFC fighters. these guys were basically, they said, let's take pro wrestling and we make it real. I mean, that was real. I mean, they were palm strikes, having to wear kick pads because they was kicking the shit out of each other. And there was one. I mean, you watch some of the old Pancrase matches. I mean, they are connecting. They do not let up. It's full steam ahead, foot on the floor, gas to the floor. I mean, these guys were rough. I mean, they'd make some of the modern day UFC fighters look like sissies.
Wow.
Because in these matches and everything, there was no rounds, there was no bell time. It was till you knocked somebody out or you made somebody tap out.
Man. Wow. Yeah, there was something I was going to ask you. Yeah, like a lot of these matches and stuff, we see on TV or different matches, these guys come out with bloody faces. In your opinion, a lot of that could be real, right?
Like, are we talking in Ultimate Fighting? Or are we talking?
Well, any of it. Which one would you say would be most likely to be more fake than, or could it all be fake, or could it all be real, regardless of what branch of the wrestling division it could come from?
Well, honestly, like back in the old days, like you remember, so there would be some matches whenever Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair would be coming to the ring, and they'd have a full crimson mask and everything. And a lot of them they never wore wrist tape to hide a blade. And I mean, they would just go and say, "Give me the stiff shot and bust me open," right? And they'd say, "Bust me open," and I mean, that was back when wrestling was real. I mean, those guys were taking some stiff shots. I mean, like Scott Steiner, Big Vader, Goldberg, Ric Flair, Bret Hart, Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan. The list goes on and on. Those guys would throw some pretty stiff shots, and a lot of them would connect. I mean, back then they really had to sell the match because that was their livelihood back then. They were wrestling for like close to maybe $500-800 a night, and then driving on to the next venue to wrestle another 60-minute match later that day or the next day even. Sometimes you can even hear Ric Flair talk about where they would go and wrestle 60-minute matches sometimes twice a day.
Hey, Zach, did you read the live chat? See what Bobcat wants.
I'm going to WWE soon, Bob the Builder. I want a match, me versus Daniel China K match. Oh, God. That's Singapore Kane.
No,
you guys never had to mess with Singapore Canes, did you?
No.
Man.
I just wanted to throw it out there. I go Mortal Kombat style. Get over here.
Hadouken.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
No,
that was Street Fighter style.
You was talking.
I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. But there's a friend of mine, actually two friends of mine, my friend Zach Cadillac Davis and Zane Killerman Clerk. Zane Clerk actually fought for Bellator in Tel Aviv 2 years ago against a seasoned veteran, but he lost by way of submission. The guy locked him in a heel hook and bore his knee out, actually, Zane told me. He told me, he says, leading up to that fight, he says, you do not know how many times they've caned me with a Singapore cane, trying to toughen my body up. And he actually told me about one time when we was in school, whenever he was still fighting Pro-Am, he would go out and he would literally punch the shit out of trees until the bark was falling off to toughen his hands up.
Well, you just reminded me of something. Jean-Claude Van Damme, the movie Kickboxer, the first original one. Have you seen that one?
No.
Oh man,
not yet.
I grew up with all the Van Damme movies. Van Damme, a lot of people saw him as a pretty boy fighter. Well, he was very sharp. He was a pretty boy fighter, but he really did martial arts in real life. but in the movies, when with Hollywood, he was a badass. He portrayed himself as he was a badass, always a sharp looking dude, and he's a Frenchman. And the thing is, with the movie Kickboxer, anybody who's I know there's a lot of people out there that are familiar with the movie Kickboxer with Jean-Claude Van Damme, and because he's played with other ones with Bolo Young with Bloodsport, but the Van Damme movies, when I was a young kid, I grew up with all them, along with the Rocky movies and the Karate Kid series and so forth. And but one thing I do want to mention, the movie Kickboxer, the way he was trained in that movie is really how they train some of the real some of the movie type kickboxers and the fighters. And because in the movie, again, it's a Hollywood movie, but with what they did, that was real stuff right there. I don't know, did he really experience a lot of that? And the thing is, the way they got him to be flexible. Van Damme was a gymnast too. He was very what's the word? He was already very flexible. There's a lot of little things people don't know about Van Damme, but and a lot of martial artists, I can tell you, a lot of them take ballet, and yeah, call it a girl thing, but a lot of gymnasts and martial artists that took their art and took their training seriously studied ballet too. Ballet for its coordination and balance, and there's a lot of it. Like my karate instructor, he had mentioned he had taken ballet, and because it's a combination of what the gymnasts learn and everything else. It all works together. So, but yeah, again, back to what I was saying. For those who are familiar with Jean-Claude Van Damme's movie Kickboxer, the way his training went down, that's actually real training. With the way a lot of them actually train in the old style. So it's good stuff. But yeah, if you get a chance, Zach, check that out, Kickboxer. And also Bloodsport. Have you seen Bloodsport? Where he fights Bolo Young?
No, I've heard of it and I've seen clips of it, but I've never seen the whole movie.
Yeah, Bolo Young was a badass in that movie too. But now Bolo Young, him and Van Damme and Bolo Young were best friends in real life. So, but they were in the movie. Of course, they went against each other. They were kind of enemies, but in real life, they're like best friends. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, I wanted to throw that out there because I'm even till this day, I'll always be a Jean-Claude Van Damme fan. Van Damme, he's got other movies too. That he's been in. There's give or take, there's a couple of his movies I wasn't entirely too crazy about, but yeah, he's been in a couple comedy type action flicks. But of course, he's up there in age. There is new kickboxer movies that's been happening, and where he actually plays a role in some of these new ones too. He's actually the one. He's actually the one that they go to for training in the newer ones. He's training all these other upcoming kickboxers to take on the big badass, and so. But it's actually pretty cool. So I've been kind of following a lot of the kickboxer movies. So you got Kickboxer Vengeance and Retaliation, Kickboxer Retaliation. Yeah, all these new kickboxer movies, they still have Van Damme in them. So, but where he actually plays a kind of a blind guy, but he's like still the badass in the movie. So, yeah. But
like he was just talking about like old Japanese style fighter wrestling. There's two wrestlers I'm going to run by. Have you ever? Well, actually, three of them. Antonio Inoki, Minoru Suzuki, and the Great Muta.
Oh, I don't know them, but I know Kawasaki.
Ha ha. Stacy Coffin joined us.
Yes.
How you doing, Stacy?
Hey, Bubba.
Oh, I'm here. I'm here. I was
awesome.
Listening to y'all talking about wrestling and everything, and just couldn't resist joining in on that.
Oh yeah.
If anybody knows wrestling, it's got to be this guy because he's actually trained you've trained with some, of them, haven't you?
Yeah, I actually wrestled for the National Wrestling Alliance, and I also wrestled for Mid-South Wrestling.
See, we got a badass in the house, dude.
No, that Daniel's the badass.
What? I don't know.
I think you square off now.
I see Bobcat Wonk.
I had a chance to really work with a lot of great guys. I mean, the guys from the National Wrestling Alliance was really a lot of fun to work with, and still friends with them to this day, and had a lot of fun times.
Yeah. I'm looking at the live chat real quick.
Nikki's
said,
talking
first of all,
trash.
Yeah, she said, "I'm back." She said, "Are you what? Oh,
guys.
Are you guys still talking about stupid wrestling?"
Well, like we was just talking, I brought up Minoru Suzuki, and I mean, he's well up there in age. He was one of the originals in Pancras fighting. He is like, I want to say he's about late 40s, early 50s. I mean, this guy can still go. He does catch wrestling, gotch style wrestling.
Right.
There was I mean, that guy can throw down. I'm going to do a quick screen share here, and let's see. Present. Sounds like your cat's dying.
That cat's crazy.
Oh, at first I thought it was a little kid.
No, that's our crazy cat.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because from my end, it sounded like there was a little kid making noise. Cats are like kids in a way.
Oh yeah.
All right, so what do we got going on right here, Zach?
This here, the guy in the trunks with the wrestling shoes on, that is Minoru Suzuki, one of the most technical wrestlers and most pure strikers I've ever seen. He currently wrestles for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I mean, this guy can still go. I mean, he's a good submission wrestler. I mean, I was listening to a fighter that actually called New Japan Pro Wrestling, Josh Barnett. He used to fight in Pancras with Minoru Suzuki, and Barnett said, I put him in a heel hook, and Suzuki just looked at me and laughed.
Mm. Well, yeah, Japan has a lot of good wrestlers over there. You know, you got Minoru Suzuki, you've got the Gracie Killer, Sakuraba, and several more that are over there that are just incredible to watch, either in MMA or in Prosu, is how the Japanese pronounce it.
And I was watching an interview. I'll get my words out. That Chris Jericho actually did. And he said he actually likes wrestling over in Japan better than he did for WWE. And he said that they're more respectful and everything. They're not as hyped as the American crowd. And he said they actually, after a sequence of moves, they actually clap in reverence to you. They actually respect the wrestlers. And not only that, over there, the Japanese wrestlers are fighting for honor. They're fighting for money. They're fighting for their jobs pretty much every night. And they got to deliver. So they go out there and they put out the 60-minute matches nearly every night, even to modern day.
They're more into the art of wrestling than they are like where WWE, when they say it's sports entertainment, that's what it is.
Yeah.
There's an entertainment there. They have their in-between stuff. You might have 1 hour show and have 4 matches, 3 matches.
Right.
The rest of it's covered with all the other fluff that goes with it.
Yeah, the filler.
You know.
But, yeah, I could see that they're like a lot of Asian countries. They're a lot more sincere about what they do and everything that they do.
Well, I mean, not only the Asian countries. I mean, like you have Lucha Libre down in Mexico. That's got a lot of good history in it, and a lot of the wrestlers in Mexico and a lot of them from Japan, they cross train with each other. And like a lot of people don't realize, Alberto Del Rio or El Patron, you know, whichever name he's under, whichever organization, they don't realize he's even got an MMA background and record.
Yeah.
He's like been world champion in every promotion that he's ever fought in too.
Yeah, and if you watch, I forget which one it was, whether it's Pancrase or it was one of the other ones. It was Japan versus the World or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually see Alberto Del Rio on there doing MMA on that card. But yeah, a lot of the old guys I used to know, hell, they're all retired now. Yeah.
Daniel, you're watching some of this stuff. This wasn't nearly as physical as what you guys was it?
No, I've done tournaments. It was I've done inside the classroom we do practice sparring and everything, but I was involved with 3 tournaments and everything, and we use headgear, chest gear, and gloves, and it was physical, but it was more of a controlled martial arts. It wasn't wrestling like this. It was punches and kicks, and it was real contact. And so out of the 3 tournaments I was involved with, I have 2 first place trophies and a third place trophy. So. But I miss those days. It was very fun. Good. I mean, I stayed in shape back then. So, but of course, I was a teenager going through all of that too.
No, I'll admit I got hurt worse doing professional wrestling than I did doing boxing, kickboxing, MMA, any of that stuff. Didn't hurt me as much as professional wrestling hurt.
Yeah.
It. Yeah, I sucked down. I had. I got told one time I need to buy stock in Tylenol company or one of them companies because I definitely kept them in business.
Oh yeah, I bet. Man,
I've got a scar on my left upper arm where we were doing a tag team match in Shreveport, Louisiana one night. And Cowboy Jeremy Young, he's out of Georgia now. He was on the other team. Well, I had been in there working, tagged out with my partner, rolled out, and I was leaned up on the apron on the outside. Well, what I didn't know was Jeremy had come running around the ring and it started beating me with a kendo stick on the outside. Well, where it went wrong was when he hit me one time, the kendo stick started breaking. He hit me one time while he pulls back. And when he pulls back, the bamboo, it sliced my arm open just like a fillet knife.
Ouch.
And you can see it was televised and everything. You can see it on TV. I had a river of blood running down my left arm from where it sliced it open.
Wow.
Needless to say,
have you ever found any of your matches on YouTube?
There used to be, but NWA Hawaii, they got sold, and the person who had the rights to the videos actually pulled them off YouTube and has never released them again. I am in one. There is one tape out there from when I fought for the IFC, the International Fighting Council. I fought Anthony Mad Dog Macias in Biloxi, Mississippi at the Biloxi Coliseum in 1994 for his world super heavyweight title. And it was called the Battle of Biloxi. I'm actually on that tape fighting Anthony Macias for his world title. And,
Zach, try to pull that up. See if we can pull that up. That'd be cool if we could pull that up.
I'll try.
Well, that one was Dr. Stoppage because I had pulled him around into where I was going to do a submission throw, locked his arms down, and as soon as I went to roll, my ankle rolled and I popped my right ankle out of socket. So I wasn't able to stand up anymore. So the doctor had to call the fight for me not be able to stand up.
I ain't seeing nothing.
All right.
What year was this? Was it 92?
94. Battle of Biloxi.
94.
IFC, Battle of Biloxi.
Okay. IFC 1994. That was just a year before I was born.
Wow, way to make me feel old there, Z-Man.
No, I'm not finding it. All I'm finding is stuff about Katrina.
Now, I will say this as far as one thing about a lot of the guys that I had a chance to face, like Anthony Macias, Eves Edwards, I fought against him in Houston, Texas one night, was back in the 90s before it became what it did with the UFC. They were all some cool guys. You know, matter of fact, I remember right after Eves Edwards knocked me out in Houston, Texas one night, and I woke up and got changed and everything. Later on, he actually bought me a beer to kind of make my head feel a little better so I could put something nice and cold up on my head from where he did a Palm Hill strike to the back of my head and knocked me out.
Daniel, you don't think in your ripe age, you don't think you can go like that, can you?
What's that now?
I said you in your ripe age, you don't think you could go like that, could you?
I don't know.
Well, the last time you were actually in a match.
I mean,
Hold on, I'm looking something up right here. Well, was that for WWF, Stacy?
no, that was for the International Fighting Council, the IFC.
Oh.
Yeah, Buddy Albin was the promoter on that card.
Yeah, I'm not getting no results. Sure. International.
But yeah, as far as like a lot of the new talent nowadays, yeah, I like Asuka. She's a great competitor in the ring and outside the ring. She seemed like she's a pretty cool individual and everything.
Oh yeah, she's fluid in every motion, every hold, every strike. She's just fluid.
Now the one I'm waiting to see come up, if they use her right, and that would be the current NXT World Champion right now.
Oh yeah.
You know,
I think it's Sandra Baszler or something like that.
Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler was trained by Josh Barnett and Sensei Eric Paulinson. Yeah, she's worked with Eric Paulinson. She worked with Josh Barnett. She's an original student of the old school of catch as catch can.
Let's see.
Any of you guys remember Great Muta?
Oh yeah, I loved his character. The Great Kabuki, the Great Muta.
correct me if I'm wrong, but this is just my personal opinion. The greatest wrestling maneuver of all time. It's not even hands on. It's the mist,
The green mist.
the green mist. The green mist is by far the greatest move of all pro wrestling history.
Yeah, I still like to watch a lot of the old stuff. I still like to watch Mr. Wrestling #2 and the old Junkyard Dog, Bob Backlund. Yeah, those guys, Luthez. I mean, what can you say bad about any match that Luthez had?
Luthez, it was a guaranteed sellout.
Oh, yeah. Then you got a lot of the old carnival wrestlers like Dick Cardinal, Pop Wicks. These are guys that went back and were the original carnival wrestlers. That they were the dangerous hookers that could play with you or lock you down and really do some damage. Carl Gotch. I mean, if you look at some of all these old matches like that, they're just fantastic to see. Speaking of Japan, since you brought it up a while ago, have you ever been able to watch Fujiwara? Anything on Fujiwara?
I'm not familiar
Name
with
rings
it.
the bell.
He was trained by Gotch in Japan.
Carl Gotch?
Yeah, he was trained by Gotch. And you can go on YouTube and look him up. Some of his Submission Master series where he worked in some of the wrestling dojos over there for the Lions, I think it's Lions Den or something like that. And just watching him, you feel the pain the guy's receiving from what he does to him. And he just flows from one lock to another lock. It's just smooth flowing drills as he just works around and just locks down body parts.
I saw this one video, and it was a long time ago, in this dojo, and it was Russian sambo style. And they in the dojo, to get the rite of passage in there, the initiation, they will take the wild, and they will put him into. It takes 4 people to do this initiation. They'll lock him in an arm bar on both of his arms outstretched and put him in a heel hook on both legs and make him suffer for a full minute and a half.
It's a crucifix. It's just a crucifix.
Yes.
Good friend of mine from back years ago. I hadn't talked to him in many years. Oleg Tiktarov was the first one to explain that one to me, and I was like, I looked at Oleg. I'm like, no, no. A lot of people don't understand. He was a real great guy. He was very talented, but mismanaged in a lot of what he done. Because there at one time, Buddy Albin was the manager of Anthony Macias, Guy Mesger, Oleg Tiktarov, and I worked for him myself he promoted me a couple of times, and Oleg got used a little bit on some of his stuff, and he would work him so hard that there was one time he had 2 matches in a month and got knocked out in one of them. But it wasn't Oleg's fault because he shouldn't have fought 2 times in 1 month. One time in Brazil and one time in the States. And So, but I'm real happy for his success that he found in Hollywood and everything with the Predator movies and Rollerball and stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about those. There was just the new Predator movie that come out, I think. Or is that coming up?
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with the new Predator movie.
There's supposed
Usually
to be
I catch. Yeah, usually I
like
catch a
there was
lot of.
supposed to be one coming out this year or like a couple months ago.
Let me see if I can look that up real quick.
Of course, you cannot beat the original.
Predator. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Something's pulling up here. The Predator 2018 film. So maybe there is a new one out. I was totally unaware. Apparently, yeah. There is a new Predator out. It's a 2018 film. But let's see. From the outer reaches of space to the small town streets of suburbia, the hunt comes home. The universe's most lethal hunters are stronger, smarter, and deadlier than ever before, having genetically upgraded themselves with DNA from other species. When a boy accidentally triggers their return to Earth, only a ragtag crew of ex-soldiers and evolutionary biologists can prevent the end of the human race. Release date. It came out September 14th, 2018.
I knew there was one that come out.
That's pretty cool.
Well, of course, we all had to have seen the original Predator with Arnold.
Yeah. And I'm not recognizing any of the actors or actresses.
Well,
probably just
a lot of people say the Predator 2 wasn't that good of a movie with Danny Glover, but
yeah,
I actually like Predator 2. It was a good movie.
Yeah, where he came into the city there, right?
Right.
Yeah. I tell you, what's that one? Alien versus Predator. Now, that one there was. I remember watching that one, and the alien itself is the alien was pretty intimidating, but I like the movie. I don't know. Maybe a lot of people weren't big fans of that one, but to me, I liked how the Predator and the humans they teamed up, to fight the alien. Because anyone who paid attention to the Predator movies knows that the humans were like slaves to the Predators. They worked for them. So and wherever, but yeah, they teamed up in that one there. That was a good movie. I remember that one, Alien versus Predator. So yeah, they had a good battle.
Are scary enough.
What's that?
The xenomorphs, what the aliens are called, the xenomorphs. Those things are scarier than shit too.
Oh yeah, very ugly.
All right, I got a question for you guys. Which one is worse for you guys in your opinion whenever it comes to the aliens, the xenomorphs? Is it the face hugger, the chest burster, or the alien itself?
I think that I know. All right, the face hugger. That thing is ugly.
Yeah, that's just no. I mean, it's bad enough you're trying to get a little French tongue action off the one xenomorph. The face hugger. That without a dinner and a movie, hey, we can't even go there.
Yeah, it's bad enough. Yeah, it's bad enough trying to get thinking about a French kiss when you got the Predator himself who reaches out that long, ugly looking tongue himself. So, next time,
they actually come out with a sleep apnea mask that's a face hugger design.
What?
Yeah. Myers has one.
I guess that's from preventing people from waking you up.
Pretty much.
I'll stick with my nose cone. My nose cone. I ain't doing no full face thing.
I ain't kidding. You can go on Amazon. You can find them. They're like $30.
Lord have mercy.
No.
I know.
Oh, to get back on something y'all were talking about before I joined y'all, did you see, Zach, or Daniel, where I put into the comments that I actually have a digital copy of an Aquaman pilot movie where they were trying to put it on TV as a series, but all they filmed was the pilot for it from back in the early 2000s, but never released.
Oh wow.
Nah, I must have overlooked that part, but
Yeah, and yeah, I might have to get y'all a digital copy of that because it actually took Aquaman to a different level, and they did a good job in bringing him from the DC Comics over because he wasn't as Zach said, SpongeBob SquarePants of the ocean,
yeah. The you by any chance have you seen the new movie yet?
No, I was impressed by Jason doing the haka at the premiere.
Yeah, I seen that
That was
on
great. But
yeah.
no, the movie not yet.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the name of it. I knew it's some kind of tribal dance thing. I didn't know what the yeah. When the studio said the haka, yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah, he did the Maori one of the Maori versions of the haka war dance.
Right,
Because
right.
if you looked in
That
the
guy
back
got
row,
pretty lit too.
if you looked in the back row, the actor that played Jango Fett in Star Wars was actually in the back row doing it also.
Hmm.
I don't want to slander his name. It's Tamora Morrison, I think it is. But yeah, he's in the back row doing it too.
I'm not familiar. Who was it again?
He played Jango Fett in the Star Wars movies.
Oh, okay. I'll I'll have to look that up because that scene, that video of them doing that dance, it's I know it's on Facebook. It's on my I caught that earlier today. It was in my news feed, so I was scrolling through and I came across that.
Yeah, look on the back row and you'll see him back there doing it with them. I'm gonna tell you what, if you ever get a chance to see a haka live in person,
You get your blood pumping.
Oh, it will.
Those guys are like motivated. They get really into that.
I watched the New Zealand Army do one time, and it was incredible the energy you could feel coming off of them as they're doing the haka.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my favorite video right there.
I mean, the dad about ripped the barricade down too. Here, I'll try and play it through my phone here.
It does help too that that is LSU.
If I can get it to work here. Man, I don't know about you, but you hear that coming down on top of you.
Oh yeah. And I'll say
you hear that coming down of you, you're screwed.
Oh yeah. But I'll say this, I lived in Hawaii for 3 years when I was in the Army, and I'll tell you what, I love the Hawaiian people. I love the islands. I love the Polynesian people. And if I didn't live in Louisiana, the only other state I would really say I'd love to live in is to move back to Hawaii and retire out there. I mean, I have nothing bad to say about the place is beautiful, but I have nothing bad to say about the Hawaiian people.
Yeah,
they're great. I love them.
yeah. I know that's a dream to get there one day. I've never been to Hawaii. The only thing I know about Hawaii is everything that show that you get to see on TV through movies or whatnot.
Oh, it's great, Daniel. You got to get. I'm gonna tell you what, y'all being avid hunters, the hunting out there
Go hog hunting.
is great. The hunting and the fishing, you get over on one of the other islands and you can do some on Oahu, but the pig hunts they're incredible.
Wow.
And the fishing out there, you just can't beat the saltwater fishing for anything. You ain't got to go out on charter boats. You can cast right there from the beaches and catch saltwater fish.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't been saltwater fishing in a while. Well, I couldn't. I don't want to really call what I've done saltwater fishing saltwater. It's more of out here on the Chesapeake and out there on the close to the eastern shore here in Virginia. We have the bays, which it's brackish water where it's mixed with salt. And I mean, I have caught saltwater fish in the brackish waters before, like sea trout, uh, croaker. Croaker is more of they do well in the brackish waters, and I've caught in what do you call them? They're like a stingray, but it's a what the heck are they called? They're not an actual stingray, but they're related to a stingray. Well, we call them skates. Yeah, a skate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which they get pretty big. I know the one I caught was like from wing to wing. It was probably a good 2 feet. So yeah, that was. I tell you what, I was probably about 18, 19 years old, and me and my friend Mike were out there. This is like good 2 hours from where I used to live, and I still lived at home with my parents, and I was like, Dad had called me. Dad's like, yeah, you guys are good ways out. You guys might want to start heading home. I said, yeah, we will soon, Dad. As soon as I got off the phone with Dad, I started to go pick up one of my poles to go check it because there was no action, nothing was happening on it, and I started reeling it up, and all of a sudden, I was like, crap! I'm pulling it back, and I, keep in mind, I got a big heavy duty rod, and my friend Mike starts laughing at me because it looks like it appears that I'm stuck on the bottom, and I'm just holding it back with a rod bent, and all of a sudden the tip starts bouncing, boom, 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 boom. I was like, holy crap! Next, my line's being pulled out, and I'm fighting this thing, and we didn't know what the heck was on there. I said, dude, we might have a shark on here. It was heavy and it was pulling like crazy. But by the time we got it close to the surface, we realized what it was. And because while I was fighting it, we were trying to name all these fish. What could it be? What could it be? And so by the time we got it up to the surface around the pier, sure enough, it came up to the surface and you could see it flapping its wings, boom, boom, boom. And it was awesome, man. I mean, I was like, it was the coolest thing ever to catch a skate like that. But
there's one fish out there that me and Stacy was actually talking about here a couple weeks ago, and I think you shared I think it was you or somebody else shared about it on the Cryptid CSI page about the megalodon.
Oh my!
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine hooking one of those things?
Yeah, that was that video that I posted of the Pacific sleeper shark that went across the camera, and they were debating on if it was a megalodon or what it was, and it was actually a Pacific sleeper shark, but it was huge. I'm a firm believer. I mean, think about it. What would you do if a shark the size of a Greyhound bus was to reappear in the world's oceans? I mean, what do you do?
I'd shit.
Be like that old 70s. You can look it up on YouTube. Old 70s record. It was called Mr. Jaws. It was about a newscaster that was uh, interviewing Jaws while the movie's going on. Yeah. That about be what I would be like. But Mr. Jaws, why are you grabbing my hand? You know, they started playing the old song, "Wouldn't you give your hand to a friend?" Not when they got that
No,
many rows of teeth.
But in all seriousness, I mean, do you think that Megalodon could still roam our oceans?
Well, let me say, go ahead, Daniel.
Oh, I was just gonna say I actually believe that they do exist. I mean, because again, a lot of people don't realize the miles and miles of depth and of ocean and the deep. What do they call those? Like we have, I don't want to say canals, like trenches, deep, wide trenches. Yeah. So yeah, I believe they do exist. Just because we haven't seen one doesn't mean. Just like Bigfoot, for some of those that believe they've never seen one, they believe in it. I mean, it's like that. I believe in the megalodon. I mean, but we know that it did exist at one time. So,
well, but, I'm like you, Daniel. There's so much unexplored oceans, but the two things that I would point out for possible evidence of that being true is one, the Baja California devil, the black devil in the Baja California, the Sea of Baja.
Stupid.
And then if you look on YouTube, you can find it. There was a Chilean or it's a country somewhere around right there. It was one of their Coast Guard units that was doing a sea rescue. They were practicing sea rescues, and they've got a camera mounted up by the hoist. And as the guy's being picked up, you'll see a huge dark shape that passes underneath him that has shark features. And it had to been well a good 30, 40 feet by just looking at it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, like we look at with Bigfoot. I mean, the evidence is there. We're just trying to put the points together. And I think the same thing about a lot of the creatures that they're going to find out in the ocean as soon as they start doing more exploration out there, that it's going to be the same way where the evidence is there. You just got to put the points from point A to point B and show the correlation to the evidence that eventually will prove what's out there. But
of course, I mean, anybody will tell you, that the ocean is the last frontier for America, because it's like 70%, 80% of the world is covered by water, and only like 13% of it is actually explored. That is a pretty wide margin for anything to stay hidden. It could be the Norse myth of the Kraken, the Megalodon, the Black Demon, the Luca from down there around Puerto Rico and Cuba, the giant octopus that inhabits the blue holes down there around Cuba and Puerto Rico, and the Bahamas.
They just proved in the last 30 years that the giant squid actually exists. And that's only been proven in the last 30 years, where they thought it had died off millions of years ago. And several other aquatic creatures have been proven in the last 30 years that they thought were gone millions of years ago. So it's hard to say.
Oh yeah, I mean, you go and you see, especially they've even got it documented. The red, I think it's the Humboldt squid. They grow to be about 10 foot long, arms included. Those things are not afraid to attack things bigger than they are. They're called the red devils. These ones down there in the Sea of Cortez, down along the California Baja Peninsula. They on Monster Quest there was actually giant squid, not giant squid, the red devils that was actually attacking the divers, and it's the same way even with octopus. There was a they were doing a film for a documentary, and the one of the divers they was filming actually was peeking in this hole, and all of a sudden you see these arms come out and wrap him up, and it was trying to pull him into the hole.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what would scare me the most out there, I guess it wouldn't be a shark or megalodon. It wouldn't be a shark that would scare me the most in the ocean diving, but it would be a big grouper.
Mm.
I mean, some of them things are big enough to swallow a manhole.
Yeah,
You know?
I've seen people catch some of them. They're massive.
I think a grouper scares me more than sharks or barracudas, just from its size and the fact that it could swallow you whole. It ain't chewing; it's just swallowing you whole.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I'm looking up here. I tried to do a quick search, and I'm looking through my phone here. Talking of the giant squid, there's a brief reading right here from the National Geographic. So lately, however, the fortunes of scientists studying these elusive creatures have begun to turn. In 2004, researchers in Japan took the first images ever of a live giant squid. And in the late 2006, scientists with Japan's National Science Museum caught and brought to the surface a live 20-foot female giant squid. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we know more about the immediate solar system than we know about our world's oceans.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, of course, you got to remember, I mean, there's even old whaler reports whenever they was going after the sperm whale for the oil, and they'd go and they'd harpoon some of them whales and drag them in, and they would find scars on them sperm whale where they've been fighting with giant squids, and some of those sucker marks on the scars would be the size of Ford hubcaps.
Yeah. I've heard.
So that makes you wonder, are they out there?
Yeah. I mean, there's no reason to think that it's not, because of the stories that you can read up on firsthand accounts from whalers and different mariners and stuff.
Right.
Like I said, just look in the last 30 years, what's been found, and they didn't think they existed.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
there's another one that's. Oh, go ahead, Stace.
Oh no, I was just thinking to myself, it's incredible the things that are being found when you least expect that you're going to run into it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
This is just like what happened, that goes the same for when we're out in the woods, and, there's people have encounters, and they happen when you least expect them, and a lot of times that happens when you're just being yourself, being nonchalant, when you're not looking for something, and then you end up discovering something, or Bigfoot will make his appearance when you least expect it. So
that's usually how it happens.
Yep, absolutely.
I saw this video documentary where they actually found this camera, and it was to erect a charter boat. These folks were out fishing, and they was getting ready to go back into port, and they was reeling in their lines. Well, this guy kept fighting this one fish for like nearly 6 hours on his line, and it had gotten dark, and all of a sudden the line just snapped in like 3 or 4 pieces, and even the rod snapped, and they all of a sudden something whooped around in their boat, and then next thing you know, there's a big commotion, screaming, and the camera got waterlogged and it quit working. But they salvaged the camera from the wreck, what they thought the Coast Guard was putting out, they was saying that that it was from a whale that had breached and it landed on the boat and sank it. But they was doing a video showing of them doing a survey of the wreckage, and there was a 6-foot bite out of the port side of that boat.
That was the
What?
one in South Africa, right?
Right.
Wow, a 6-foot bite.
6
Wow.
foot.
Holy crap.
And it was U-shaped right out of the side of that boat.
Zach, Daniel, have y'all seen the video of Deep Blue from the Galapagos Island, the big female?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, you got to look it up. She's a
Yeah,
big
go ahead,
girl. Woo. She's a big girl.
See if you can pull that up, Zach. That'd be cool to check out.
I'm working on it.
I don't think me, you, and Zach, Daniel, I don't think we could all touch fingertip to fingertip and go around her midsection. She's so big.
Wow.
And she's beautiful. She to watch her in the videos, as graceful as she's moving through the water, it's kind of hypnotizing on that a creature this big could move so graceful through the water.
Oh, Zach's got something he's pulling up. There we go.
Stupid ad.
I know.
There she is.
Wow.
Look at her.
She's a big, beautiful girl.
Man, look at her nose, how wide her head is.
Wow, that's one big fat mama.
Wait till you see her compared to a person that's on top of the cage, and you realize how big she is. When you got a size comparison right there.
Wow. Yeah, I would not be sticking my head out that cage. I'll be where I'm most protected.
I mean, one of her fins is as big as the diver is.
Mm.
You know, but look how, I mean, she's just graceful. It's like it's almost mesmerizing how graceful that she's moving to be that size.
Yeah.
Look how big she is compared to the cage.
Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
Look at that.
I'd be getting to the back of the cage too.
Especially when she comes around.
Hey, I've seen 34 meters down. I've seen Jaws.
And if you look, she's not being aggressive. I mean, she's just cruising around, checking things out, and then she leaves. I mean, okay, I came, I saw, I'm gone.
I gave you a camera
that's
show.
Yeah.
That's the
She's like,
thing, though.
Show, forget it, you know.
See, that's the thing, though. Whenever it comes to sharks, they attack for food. They will not. They'll take a test bite of something and see if it's edible or not, and if not, they spit it out. But then you have some of them rogue sharks that once they taste blood, they want blood, and that's the ones you need to watch.
Well, that's whenever you're talking about bull sharks and the ones like that. I mean, bull shark. I mean, they're highly aggressive. You know, you are on there, me and you playing.
Bull sharks have got the highest testosterone of any shark in the ocean. And not only that, they can adapt to, they can go from salt water to brackish water to fresh water. There was actually a shark that was seen here actually not even a decade ago that was seen up by St. Louis swimming in the Mississippi, and that's over 500 miles.
They've had them up way beyond St. Louis, up towards was it St. Paul, Minnesota, or something like that. They've had them up that far.
Yep. I mean, that's pretty good topic. Let's come back next week because we're getting short on time and everything, and I'm sure everybody wants to get some sleep. But let's do that. Let's talk a little bit.
Daniel sleep yawning. I can hear him yawning in the background.
Oh no, you probably hear me breathing because the mic's right out of my mouth. But now I'll probably go watch a movie here with Brianna very shortly here.
But yeah,
check this out. Yeah, go ahead, Zach. I'll let you do your part.
No, I was gonna close out. You go first.
Oh, okay. Well, everybody knows that. Everybody who's been following Friday nights, we usually go live Friday nights. I'm trying to continue a Friday night Bigfoot chat. Well, next Friday, the 28th, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're gonna go live with our Friday night Bigfoot chat, and a topic I want to talk about is the discovery of primates in time. You know, because over a period of time, a lot of different species of primates have become known and public to humans. Anywhere from the gorillas to the chimpanzees and so forth, even the billy ape. And I thought it'd be good to go ahead and talk about primates and get people familiar with some of the various species of primates and when they were first discovered or become known to the human public. And for us to talk about discoveries and bring share this awareness to educate those who are unaware, I believe it'll be a good learning experience or learning tool for everybody. And so yeah, next Friday night, December 28th, I will go ahead and schedule that for the 28th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, and that'll be on my YouTube channel, Bigfoot Zone. Again, with ECBRO in parentheses. And Zach, I want to thank you for pulling our event website. June 29th and June 30th of 2019, ladies and gentlemen, the ECBRO Virginia Bigfoot Con is happening. So all the information is right here. If you go to virginiabigfootcon.com. Excuse me. Yeah, and it's going to be taking place right in Waynesboro, Virginia, at the Best Western Plus. The Best Western Plus in Conference Center. And in 2019, we have other events taking place as well prior to this, or just before this. We got one coming up in a couple of weeks, actually, in less than a month. Right here, 2019, January 12th, the Bigfoot Winterfest is happening in the Waynesboro Public Library. Again, that's Waynesboro Public Library, and it starts at 1 p.m. And so the Uncharted Para-Cryptid Studies, Michael Cook and Gwendolynn will be there, and when I'll be there, we'll be giving presentations. We'll have Q&A sessions, and it's going to be a great time. So come on out. And you want to join a Bigfoot expedition? Right here, this is happening from Paratalk Radio. Paratalk Radio had asked me to lead a Bigfoot expedition, and there will be a paranormal investigation along with this Bigfoot expedition. And it is happening April 27th into the 28th, and it'll be right here in Virginia at the George Washington National Forest. If you are interested in joining that or being a part of that, you can email me at ecbro98@gmail.com. So, and then again, check out the rest of the website. The location, everything is there, all your information. Get your tickets now. Ticket prices will double as of January 1st. So we have so far, this is our current list of speakers right here. So we have the North Carolina Squatch Watchers, the She Squatchers, Fred Kenny, Mr. Zach Sterick of the Southern Illinois Monster Hunters, Michael Cook in the Uncharted Para-Cryptid Studies, and Alex Bob, also known as Bigfoot Bob. Yeah, he will be there. So come on out, and it's going to be a great time, guys. It's going to be a great time. And if you're willing to be interested in being a sponsor or a vendor, please contact me. There's contact forms through the website. So check out the website. I'll be looking forward to hearing from you. So and that about covers it. So, thank you very much.
So yeah, and all of that. If you want to contact me and Stacy through Cryptid CSI or the Southern Illinois Monster Hunters or the ECBRO, I am division leader for Southern Illinois for ECBRO. Man, I'm spreading myself thin. I'm getting gray. But yeah, be sure to contact Stacy through Cryptid CSI. Ask for him personally because there are 7 members of Cryptid CSI that do answer our messages. It's not just me and Stacy. So if you want to look, if you're looking for anybody to speak to personally, there's a lot of good groups that's in the Cryptid CSI project. You got Stacy Coughlin, myself, Tracy Arnold, Fred Caney, Michael Cairo. He's with Central Illinois Bigfoot Project. He's currently located in Texas right now. So if you're out of Texas and you have a case that you want to go and have investigated by him or our other Texas representative, Baldemar Galvan Jr., please contact them. Dave Thundercloud's on the team. Brian Jeffries and myself are here in Illinois. If you are in Illinois and you want us to investigate a case personally, we'll be more than glad to do that. Be sure to go and like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification button. It'll be right down here on your laptop or computer, whatever device that you're listening. So go ahead and check those out. Be sure to go through the description and check out all of the event pages, the YouTube channels, the Facebook pages. And they're all with all the names of the people that run them are right there. Let's see, we got Daniel Benoit's ECBRO 98 Bigfoot Zone. We got Big Truth with Ed Brown, Dan Lindholm. My girls, the She Squatchers, Jen Kruse and Jena Grover. Michael Cook and Gwendolynn Guthrie from Uncharted Para-Cryptid Studies. Be sure to check out the Southern Illinois Bigfoot Conference that's happening July 27th of 2019 at Marion Carnegie Library in Marion, Illinois. Daniel Benoit will be speaking. Greg Squatchman Yost will be speaking, and Glenn Mink of the Squatch Investigator, he will be speaking as well. Be sure to check out the Southern Illinois Monster Hunters, ECBRO, She Squatchers, Hiking with Sasquatch Outlaw Tracy Arnold, Cryptid CSI. Be sure to check out Jena Grover's G by the Sea Jewelry Warehouse that she's got online. A lot of good stuff she's been doing a lot of following on. Be sure to check out our good friend and colleague Robyn Nelson with Wrestle Popcast and Paranormal 13 Files. His on Spreaker.com for Wrestle Popcast along with Paranormal 13 Files. Baldemar Galvan Jr. with the B County Bigfoot Researchers Organization out of Texas. You can be sure to check him out, and also be sure to check out, it's at the very bottom of the description, my brother's YouTube channel, The Barnyard. He'll be uploading a lot of gaming videos from like the newest and latest games like Farming Simulator, Red Dead Redemption, etc., that's coming out. Be sure to check out all these guys. Leave a comment and tell them that Blimp sent you.
All right.
But until then, everybody, God bless everybody. Thank you all so much for interacting with us on tonight's panel through the live chat. Thank you for sharing this around with your friends. From the bottom of my heart, have a very Merry Christmas or whatever holiday you guys celebrate. We wish you all safe travels while you're in the air, on the road during the holidays. Just by all, eat, drink, and be merry, and have a very Merry Christmas. And hopefully, we'll see you guys here next week for our New Year's Eve special. And until then, guys, stay geeky, stay squatchy. On behalf of Stacy and Daniel, keep a wary eye out, keep your ears to the wind and your nose to the ground. And we'll see you guys next time on Geek-Squatch. Have a very good night, everybody.
Merry Christmas. Whoop.
Happy Yule.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, folks. Good night.